Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Bill. Behind me is my 1993 Toyota Supra Turbo, manual, 6-speed. It's a good model. I bought this thing at auction in Japan 5 years ago. And back then, it supposedly ran until it was crashed into a guardrail and then it was parked for a really long time because it has a clutch issue. So long story short, we've never heard this thing run. In today's episode, we're gonna be focusing on going through the processes of what we do to start up a car for the first time that's been sitting for so long, to make sure that we start it safely, and well, hopefully it'll start up. If not, we'll start diagnosing it and then we'll fix the problem and then we'll start it up. See, I have a lot of confidence. Also, we're doing some race car stuff on our race car. Stay tuned. Before we get down to work, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by ShipStation. These days, being a business owner, it can be really hard to find spare time. And when you do have spare time, you want to spend it doing things you enjoy, like brainstorming fun new ways to grow your business or spending time with your family. You don't want to spend it worrying about shipping and fulfillment and logistics. And to put it simply, that's why ShipStation is a must-have for any business that ships anything. ShipStation automates the time-intensive shipping processes so you can focus on what matters most. And ShipStation is trusted by over 100,000 businesses. And that's not just US-based businesses either. That's UK, that's Canada, Australia. Everybody loves ShipStation. So if you find that all those shipping tasks are eating up too much time out of your day, ShipStation is definitely the right place for you. It works with all your storefronts. So that's like Amazon, that's Etsy, that's eBay, and a bunch more, and you can start automating processes right away. You also get the bonus of getting deeply discounted shipping rates that are normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies and above. Through ShipStation, there's also a bunch of different options to choose from for shipping, so you can make sure that you're getting the best rate using the best company for the type of shipping you're doing. And it's so good, in fact, that 98% of the companies that use ShipStation for a year use it for the entirety of their company's life. So it's time to let go of all those manual shipping tasks. ShipStation can do it better and faster. Sign up for a free 60-day trial at shipstation.com/B is for build, and you can start saving today time and money on your shipments. That's 2 months of shipping made quick and painless, and it's free to try. Just go to shipstation.com/B is for build. It's a great product. I've used it tons before, and it's the best one out there on the market. So if you do shipping, I highly recommend you check it out. Huge thanks to ShipStation for sponsoring this episode. Let's get down to work.
How's your bag of water, Oscar?
It's pumping.
It's pumping?
It's
she pumping?
She's pumping. Trying to figure out which way it's pumping.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, you're right. It won't matter.
All right. Oscar's working on race car stuff. I'm going to focus on Supra stuff.
Then I'll give you guys an update on some of the race car upgrades we're making. So jumping back into the Supra here, we're gonna be totally focusing on the starting up of this vehicle before we tear it down. I always like to start the vehicles up, make sure the engine is running, the powertrain is good before I start trying to mess with the body stuff, because it's kind of pointless if it ain't gonna go anywhere. So starting an engine is all about air, fuel, spark, lube. Right now I'm gonna focus on the lube situation, the oil. So basically gonna jump underneath, hit the plug on the oil pan. That's going to drain the oil down. I'm going to inspect the oil, see how it looks, see if there's any water in the oil. That's one of the first most important things. And if it all looks good, then we'll basically just do a routine oil change and fill it back up with oil. All right, so you can see this oil is draining. This is a really good sign. It's a nice amber color. It's not frothy or anything. There's no water. Water would come out first because oil sits on top of water. There's no signs of water in this, no milkshake. It's actually in really good, visibly like looking condition. So that's all a really good sign, which is awesome. I found something that was not a good sign. I took the front rock guard off, and inside it, I did two things. One, we got a leak. That's not very unexpected. There's a power steering line down there that is crushed. That's power steering fluid, so it's not a big surprise. What is a big surprise is a tomato sauce packet. And the reason this is a big surprise is this is not a JDM tomato sauce packet. I went all the way to Japan to learn what these look like. It's not like this. They're really smart. They build most of their tomato sauce and mustard into one packet. Did you know that, Oscar? It's like a two-piece thing, and you crack it in the middle, and you just put out it's ketchup and mustard at the same time. So what this means,
you caught me snacking in your shoe.
Some American was eating hot dogs in my engine bay. It's unacceptable. If you ever get the chance to go to Japan, you gotta check out those ketchup and mustard things. I think some American might have left something in the trunk of this. Today's just a fun day, guys. We're just having a fun day in the shop. I'm gonna see if I can get in the trunk. I think there might be something cool in there. And yes, we have legitimately never opened the trunk. All I can see is wheels in there that are like spares. There's like 2 spares in there for some reason. I think there's some more in there. I was promised some Japanese beer. It will only have been 3 years old at this point. What? Did you guys know that? I just figured this out. Dude, the trunk keyhole goes through the taillight. I never ever noticed that. These are like some of the most elegant taillights. Anyways, all right, let's see if there's anything special back here. Where's the beer, guys? If the spares are right there, then this has to be full of beer. No! Where's my Japanese beer? Oh, I was promised JDM beers from the importers.
So let down.
That's okay. Actually, I'm not let down at all. The car's a good enough deal. When you buy a car and by the time you get it home it's worth double, that's a pretty solid deal, even if the 6-pack is missing. You know what this means, guys? We just gotta go to Japan and get some beer. Dear Japan, please let us come to your country. Right now they are allowing guided tours, and they won't guide me to the places I wanna go. It's really weird. All right, time to finish out the oil change, new filter, fill up with oil. All right, oil change is complete. So you guys remember, it's air, fuel, spark, lube, right? So next I'm gonna go after spark, just checking that out. Underneath this casing right here, I'll pop this off. There's a bunch of these Allen head bolts that go all through here. You gotta be very careful not to break this case. This one's actually pretty valuable, collectible. Anyways, get underneath there. Then you got your spark tubes for your coils, and pull the spark tube off and you'll have your spark plug underneath there. And go ahead and pull a spark plug out and check the condition. If it's looking good, probably pull another one out, check the condition there. Oh, and let's look at a cylinder while we're in here. Good news, bad news. Inside this valley, obviously this gets heat cycled a lot. This is a low mileage car. We'll find out by the end of this how much mileage, but just because of its age and everything, it gets heat cycled a lot, and a lot of these plastics can break. So when I immediately touch these guys right here, these clips, like watch, I can just grab this with my hand and rip it apart. So that's not good, but luckily I do believe Toyota or other companies make replacements of all of those, so that's fine. I definitely damaged this clip right here, but I think I can make it work for today until I can repin it and replace it. That was a real big bummer. So hopefully we won't have a misfire on cylinder 5. I'm pretty sure I can get it in. Now the good side of this, well, so also before you pull any spark plugs, gotta vacuum out all the crap and plastic because you don't want that to fall in the cylinder head. But the good side is look how clean these parts are. I mean, this is like really, really good condition, really, really clean. So that's the upside, is this engine's had a really gentle life, and it is really nice and clean, so I'm betting it's gonna be really low miles, low kilometers, since it's a JDM car. So I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum all that out and pop those spark plugs out. All right, got the spark plugs out. Overall, they're looking pretty good. They got a little bit of oil on the threads, which is not uncommon for 2JZ stuff. Most likely comes from, we could have a tiny leak in the valve cover gasketing right there. Or, I mean, in theory, it could be blow-by, but it's not very likely. I'll show you the threads with the oscilloscope. Sorry, I meant to say borescope. So I know my scopes. So anyways, if I can get this in the hole, that's what she said, you'll see absolutely nothing. So you can see there's a little bit of oil on the threads and right there on the top. So it's probably coming from the top down, probably just a really, really tiny leak. And then once we look inside the cylinder, yeah, it's kind of hard to show you guys on camera, but it looks fine. It looks consistent. Both of them look the same. They're both kind of in a higher position right now. So we can't see the cylinder walls, but it'll be fine. So that's spark and lube down. And I'm obviously may have broke one of the sparkies. Hopefully I can pin that back together so we can run on 6 cylinders, but it's looking good so far. This is all good news. I want to show you some upgrades we did to the race car. The guys have been working for the last couple days on getting ready. So today, you guys are watching this video, it's Friday. Tomorrow we're going to race another Lemons race. We're gonna be airing that on the second channel, which I'll put a link to in the description. It's called Behind the Build, and some of our, not too competitive, not too serious racing stuff is gonna go onto there. So the car, the Lemons car, still running like crap when we're not in full throttle, but luckily in full throttle, it's somehow still working, and in true BS for Build fashion, we've been focusing on everything else first. So in the front, we decided to keep our battle scars. This was when Jared hit a Miata, and then this was a small parking accident that we had in New Jersey, and it's not really a big deal. Battle scar. This car was never the prettiest looking car anyways, and now it just adds a little bit of character and brings our value down even further, so we don't have to worry about BS inspection as much. We're working on a few more decals because obviously Chris not found is not true anymore. I'm going to be at this race, so it's probably going to say something like error. Yeah, and what are we going to write?
Speed not found.
Speed not found. Car don't work. I don't know.
Start not found.
Start not found. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Start not found will fit very well in there. The big thing that we had to do was a round of comfort upgrades and communication upgrades. So Rugged Radios had sent us a bunch of stuff for the Jumpicon, and it will go in the Jumpicon for when we're doing desert endurance racing, but it's really easy to swap in and out of different vehicles. So we wanted to kind of learn how it all works and test it out and use it on this vehicle. So we're going to use the Rugged Radios comm system, and this is just actually completely unrelated to comms, but something that they sell, which is the air pumper. So this goes into the back of our helmets. Oscar, you got a helmet around? So Oscar has his helmet right there. So that just plugs into the back of your helmet and it forces fresh air in. And then when you're doing off-road racing, you also wear a skirt to keep the dust from kind of coming up here. But this is just more of a comfort feature for us right now. It's gonna let us keep our visors down, and it really cools your head down nicely, which is really nice. And then also for cooling, we have our cool suit mounted now in a cooler that runs up into some quick disconnects, because you have to, as a driver, you got to be able to get in and out of the car very quickly. So there's quick connects, and then these go into a cool shirt. So all of our drivers have a cool shirt that they wear under their suit like this. So if you're ever watching like the Formula drift drivers and they come out of their car and they got these hoses like hanging out of the crotch of their suit, that's what those are. Those are the cool shirt systems. So this fires up the air pumper, that fires up the cool suit, and then jumping into the comms, this is pretty cool. This button right here is for the driver to talk. So let me jump to the other side. So our comm system is really trick and like worth more than this car times 2. It's really, really nice. Rugged Radio totally hooked us up. So I'm gonna put a link in the description, guys. Go show them some love. Tell them we appreciate their support. And I feel really bad we didn't get to race with this stuff in the Mint 400 because I got cancer. But we're gonna use it now, and then hopefully we'll be back out for the Mint in next March and use it then. So this is just us testing and learning with it. So our helmets have the Rugged Radio microphone and speaker installed within them. And then that big blue like quick connect, you just shove that thing together, it makes it all ready to go. And then so this is our stereo. So let's go ahead and throw power to the car, Oscar. So the radio works without the car's power, the car being keyed on, but
they're all off.
Yeah, so that's off, and then it's not the, yeah, it's passenger. So this is the intercom. If you had a passenger, it helps you be able to talk inside to the passenger and back and forth, but it also helps you be able to talk to the radio. And the radio then runs to this massive, really cool antenna that gets us like tons and tons of range, because we used some other radios that were good quality and they could do like 2 mile range inside the city. They did not work for the race. So this is all really trick, and it goes through that cable, goes through the intercom, and then it goes into the radio, and then the push to talk activates you talking to our base, to our pit station, right? So everybody at the pit listens in on this guy right here, which is just a little cart that we built, and we put about 1/4 of the antenna on here. This antenna, Rugged hooked us up with this antenna stand and like tripod. I mean, you saw it. It goes. It's a flagpole. It's a huge flagpole that. So basically, it's so heavy duty. You park the truck tire on top of it as this stand, and then it runs like 40 feet into the air, so you can get like 50-mile range. But since we're just we're hoping this is going to be fine for just at the pits, and we'll give you a little demo. So this just powers off of a car battery, and we've got it unplugged for some reason. All right, we got it plugged in. This is a sad story. That's out of our diesel truck, which is coming back to life soon. Don't worry about that. So then I turn this guy on. So now I can talk to Oscar in the car, just like this. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. You can kind of hear the car a little bit.
and you can hear Oscar, and then Oscar can talk to us.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
So then Oscar could talk to us like that from his helmet. So basically now when we're going to be hanging out, we'll have this on in the pit, and then if Oscar needs to tell us anything, or if he says, hey, I'm going to come in 5 laps, he'll tell us on that, and we'll get the next driver ready and have all that stuff ready to go. That is something that we didn't have at the last race, and I think if we did, we would have beat Chris Fix's team probably, but that's just neither here nor there. Very, very cool. We're going racing tomorrow, from the day that you guys see this video. Going racing tomorrow out in Grass Valley, Oregon. I believe they do have spectators available. If you want to come watch us race some lemons, we'll be out there. So this time Chelsea is actually racing, and my friend Adrian and his girlfriend are racing. So we're not taking it quite as seriously with trying to beat anybody. We're just gonna go out and have some fun. Anyways, what I am taking seriously is getting this 2JZ to fire up. I'm gonna get the spark plugs back in here, and I'm gonna work a small miracle on that spark tube connector, and we should be good. Oh, by the way, the timing belt, it looks like it's in really, really good shape. So either low miles or it's been changed, but it's nice. No cracks, no nothing. No signs of wear even. So yep, spark plugs going back in, get that cover back on there, button that up. Got that button back up, so let's keep going through the list. Air, fuel, spark, lube. Let's talk about air. Air's gonna go through this filter right here. It's probably not gonna produce a lot of resistance right now. It's definitely clean enough to operate. This engine, I'm not seeing a mass airflow sensor. My Aristo 2JZ GTE had a mass airflow sensor. I'm not seeing one on here though, so less things to worry about, right? So then obviously the air is gonna go through, it's gonna get spun up by the turb skis, it's gonna run through this little intercooler down here, everything looks okay, and then it's gonna come back around and go into the intake manifold that is right here. Everything looks fine on that. That's just something I'm gonna be troubleshooting later on if we seem to have any problems with air. So the last piece is fuel. Now fuel is kind of a questionable thing. I could just try and fire this thing right up right now. Lots of times that works. Sometimes vehicles that have been sitting for years, the gas goes really bad, really fast. Sometimes it goes bad slowly. And it's just a big, big question mark. I think I found a great spot to be able to drain the gas tank from down here right before the fuel filter, which will get changed out eventually anyways. It looks like it's pretty downhill from where the tanks are going to be, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jack the car up, I'm going to disconnect the fuel feed line down underneath the car. I'm going to drain all of the fuel out of it. That way we can put 5 gallons of fresh premium into it even before we start. That can help with making sure that we don't clog an injector. If the fuel gets all gunky, you could clog an injector, although I think the fuel actually gets thinner the older it gets, but don't quote me on that. But anyways, it can definitely help just, you know, make sure that your injectors are a little bit more happy. I'm not a scientist, but I think the old fuel actually gets a little bit more like potent, but I've seen it throw off tunes like really, really, really bad. Like had huge problems with old fuel when we did that twin turbo Mustang project. Fuel was like 3 years old and it never ran right until we put fresh fuel in it, and then it ran like a top. So it can cause serious, serious tuning problems. So let's get that old fuel out of there. I don't know if you guys could see from the video, but that was the bucket we were putting the fuel into. Don't worry about that oil spill. That's from when I was sliding the last oil bucket out. Put the fuel into there, not a lot of fuel came out. Now, it's possible that when they ship cars overseas and they're on these storage container ships, that they have to drain the fuel. It's very possible, but I have no idea if that's the case. It would be cool if the fuel was already out of here. So what I'm gonna do is, for the first time ever, we're gonna add power to this vehicle. This vehicle came to me without a battery because when we saw it in Japan, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a bolt sticking through the headlight into the battery. So I bought a fresh battery. We're gonna put a battery in here, and when I turn that key onto the on cycle, it's going to try and prime the fuel pumps, which will push any fuel that's in there out through that way pretty forcefully. Probably gonna go all over the floor, but that's a problem for 5 minutes from now. All right guys, moment of truth. Power's on to the car. Saw that the door open indicator's already on. Number one thing I'm curious about here, well, besides the fuel level, miles. That's a clock. Where's the miles? Miles are not automatically turning on like I thought they would. So if I turn it one more time though, we're gonna get squirt cam down there. Let's do it, here we go. See if we get miles, and we'll definitely get some squirt. There goes fuel pump. 117,000 kilometers. That's about roughly 68,000 miles, I think, if I do my math inside my head real good. Not too bad. Now, I didn't hear any pumps priming. I didn't hear any squirt stuff. Check the squirt situation. There's not fuel everywhere. Huh. Turn the key a little bit more. It says we're at quarter tank. No, I think that's trying to start the car. Why wouldn't it try and prime right now? This is bizarro. Okay, so that's that should be squirting fuel. All right, that officially means she's out of fuel. I'm a professional. I know these things. We're out of fuel. I can't be 100% sure, but it makes sense to me. So I'm gonna go get some premium, and we'll fill her up with premium and put my fuel lines back together. Baby's first drinks of American gasoline. Got 6.5 gallons in there. I thought that thing only held 5. Definitely holds 6.5. Now, I would go fire it up right now, but it seems to have a bit of an exhaust blockage. That looks like a piece of like kind of cosmetic tin that is blocking that though. But yeah, it ain't good. I'm just gonna grab the reciprocating saw and get some of this out of here. We will be going with an aftermarket exhaust system on this car to increase the performance. So this thing can go one way or another. So I may cut it off back there, or I don't know. I gotta open up some flow. I promise I wasn't smiling when I did that last job, but I have muffler grit in my teeth. I can feel it grinding around in there. Of course, I can't find the 10 mil. Oh, this is my sword. It's called, I don't know, it has a name. I bought it on the BS for Build road trip, but sometimes when I'm here late at night alone, this is my Portland's full of too many tweakers defense weapon. All right, once I can find the 10 mil, we could properly apply power. Do not use the Ugga Dugga on your batteries. It breaks the posts off. And then you don't get to finish your episode of Will It Start or Not. And Ugga Duggas, I found out on the Mustang, are just very unreliable tools of measurement. They did not tighten my coolant lines down enough. Let's do this. We get to finally make some vrooms here. Oh yeah, I don't think I mentioned, but I'm super nervous about how the fuel pump wasn't priming last time, or didn't make any weird noises or anything when it went empty. That's the thing I'm most nervous about. Well, let's see if we get some more fuel sounds now. Nothing. I don't think the fuel pump is priming. Can't hurt to crank it a little bit though. Let's see what happens. Started for a second there. Let me check if there's any like action down underneath. Everything's looking good. Sounded like the fan might have been hitting the fan shroud a little bit. Yep, it's hitting on the rotations. Fan shroud might not be in the exact right position after the crash. Okay, that's not something to worry about. Let's hope that was a little bit of the end of the bad fuel, and let's try and get into the new good fuel. Will it start? Nope. Some people will be worried. I see this as an opportunity for growth. All right, boys, I got a race tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. This is like an old school BS for Build episode where we like figure out it doesn't work out of the blue, thought it probably would, turns out it doesn't, and in the next episode, we diagnose it. We're gonna figure it out, we're gonna solve the problem. Air, fuel, spark, lube, baby, it can't be that hard. See you guys on the next one. Peace!